Stop trying to be liked by everyone. You don't even like everyone. Hello girlies, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am super excited to talk about today's topic because I am a retired people pleaser and this is a big one for me. I finally figured it out and had my boundary insight just last year, so since then my life has changed and I have a lot to say about this. So today we are talking boundaries and people pleasing, and not in a heavy I'm exhausted by people kind of way, but more in a grown, confident, self-respect is hot kind of way. Because somewhere along the line, a lot of us learned that being ourselves, wanting things, needing things, and just having boundaries makes us difficult, cold, or unkind. And that is just not true. Honestly, a woman with boundaries is very powerful and attractive. I want to start by suggesting the perspective through which you should be watching this video, and that is looking at boundaries as a way to strengthen your friendships and all your relationships in general, as a way to bond and understand each other better. Now let's talk about people pleasing, because this is where boundaries usually disappear. Nobody is born a people pleaser. This is a characteristic that we gain throughout our childhood and teenage years, because of different life experiences, trauma, and so on, just as any other limiting belief. I have to please these people or else they won't like me or they will reject me. You didn't make up your need for being loved. This is how you were taught to be. People pleasing often comes from childhood, and the most common reason is your parents. You either do as they do because they were people pleasers themselves, or you remember subconsciously how your parents would tell you to be quiet in different places, how they told you not to say this, not to say that. When you wanted something, they told you that you can't have that. Maybe you were praised only when you got straight A's. In other words, you were rewarded for staying small and being good, or you were punished for being your open self. So you learn that to earn love and affection, you need to be agreeable and compliable with everything. This way, you were taught to do everything for everyone and think of yourself last. You were trained to be a good girl. This also gives you this background feeling of anxiety, where you're constantly thinking ahead of time about the reaction that you're going to get. You can literally be scared of a person's reaction to anything you say or do. As a child or teen, maybe you received validation or praise for doing things for others, and learn to always do that to continue to receive that praise and validation. It doesn't necessarily have to be your parents, though. It can be parents of your friends, it can be your friends, your classmates, your teachers, or even just people that you see randomly, just random people from your past. You start thinking that if you don't please them, you will get rejected, and there you have the fear of rejection. Or maybe you're afraid of conflict, and that's why you try and stay small to not anger anybody. Whatever the reason is, you learn to shapeshift into a person that adapts their own needs for the sake of others. But people pleasing is not kindness. It's just fear dressed up as being nice. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being disliked. And listen, I get it. But when you people please, you're not being generous. You're abandoning yourself so others don't leave. And over time, that does damage. You start feeling resentful, drained, and disconnected from who you actually are. And then you wonder why you're tired all the time. Because your nervous system is working overtime to keep others happy and comfortable. I have been here. I know the feeling. I thought that if I would be easy to love, then everyone would love me. But no. I learned the hard way that it doesn't work like that. Just think, what about the little girl inside of you? How does she feel when you choose others over her? How does she feel when you choose someone else's comfort over her comfort? She breaks down, little by little. She starts to disappear and dissolve into nothingness. Being a people pleaser is not an investment to how people are going to treat you in the future. You don't get treated better later if you don't treat yourself good now. If you are a people pleaser, which most likely you are if you are watching this video, then you need to find the root cause of your people pleasing. Ask yourself some questions. What am I afraid of? Why am I afraid of it? What will happen if I choose myself? So what if that happens? Why do I feel that I need validation from others? What will that validation from others give me? Why is my own validation not enough for me? So let's talk boundaries. How do I set boundaries without people getting mad at me? And I get why that's the question. I really do, honestly. But I would like to flip the coin and ask you, why do you care so much about their reaction? Why do you care more about their reaction than your own comfort? Why is their reaction more important to you? Why is your peace always negotiable? Think about it. So here's what changed everything for me. Your job is not to manage other people's emotions. Your job is not to keep other people comfortable. You are responsible for your boundary and for setting it. That's it. Their reaction is their reaction. It belongs to them and it has nothing to do with you. You are not responsible for how someone feels about your boundary. You are only responsible for setting it. What people think about you is their problem, not yours. What is more important to you? Gaining someone else's approval or being happy? I really want this to land. So listen, you do not need to give an explanation to set a boundary. You do not need a dramatic reason. You do not need proof. You do not need to convince anyone. You're allowed to say, I'm not comfortable with this, or this is not okay for me anymore. And that's it. Even if you allowed it for years, even if the people are used to it being the way that it was, even if you were okay with it before, your boundaries are allowed to change as you grow. That's called evolution. So there are different types of boundaries. We have time boundaries, valuing your own time and energy. Emotional boundaries, not tolerating yelling, name-calling, or manipulation. Spiritual and religious boundaries, having your own point of view and values without tolerating others forcing theirs. Physical, not wanting to be touched, hugged, or having someone stand too close to you. Sexual, not being ready or comfortable for certain things or with certain individuals. Financial, not being okay with paying for someone or having a certain way that you spend your finances. And non-negotiables, which are general things like, for example, I don't drink, and that's enough. And also personal boundaries, which are boundaries that you set with your own self, which are often overlooked. However, they are just as important as any other boundary. Respect your own boundaries that you have with yourself. This is where devotion comes in. Or for some, discipline. If you're a discipline girly, then you would probably offer yourself a reward after getting something done, or a consequence after not getting something done. But discipline doesn't work for me because it's a little bit too harsh and it makes me feel like I need to do something rather than I want to do something for the sake of my well-being or whatever. You can set boundaries everywhere, in relationships and friendships, with family members, and just with anyone in the world, including yourself. Commit to your own words and create boundaries that will bring you closer to your goals and stick to them. If you can't respect your own boundaries, how do you respect others to respect yours? So, how do you actually set boundaries? Step 1, make sure you are in a good state. Not angry or sad or anything like that. Have a good vibe and avoid drama. Step 2, state that you want to share something. If you say that you want to talk about something, then they might get a little bit on the edge, and most likely they'll subconsciously get ready to defend themselves. But we want them to be open-minded and ready to listen. Step 3, use I statements, also called I messages. I statement is a communication technique for communicating needs, concerns, or expressing feelings from a first-person perspective without blaming or provoking defensiveness in the other person. It focuses on your experience. So the formula is I feel, feeling, when, fact, because, reason, or need. For example, instead of you keep interrupting me, you can say, I feel unheard and not listened to when my words get interrupted. Or instead of you never help with cleaning, you can say, I feel overwhelmed when the kitchen is messy, so I need us to share the cleaning responsibilities. This reduces conflict while clearly articulating your needs, which totally shifts the energy of the entire conversation. Step 4, be firm and compassionate, but understanding of the outcome. You can mention that you understand the person doesn't mean any harm, but this is important to you because you would like to avoid any negative energy buildup between the two of you. All this either gets your boundary heard and respected, or it's information. And don't apologize for your boundaries. It's enough to just say it. Say it calmly, without drama, without explanations. It's enough to just say, no, I can't do that. And that's it. Don't think about the reaction because that's where the fear comes up. Hold people accountable for what they're doing, and of course, be respectful yourself. Here's a list of short and sweet examples of different boundaries. When someone asks you to do something, no, I won't be able to. When someone isn't doing their part, let them know ecologically how you feel about it and that that's not okay for you. If someone asks you what you want to do, don't say, oh, it doesn't matter, let's do what you want to do. Tell them what you would want to do. If you ask someone to do something for you and they forgot about it, remind them about it. Why aren't you pleasing yourself? Why are you giving so much of your own space to them? Fill your space with you. Take it step by step, don't rush, and don't think that you were meant to be a people pleaser if your progress is not so fast. Be firm about your boundaries. If you communicated your boundary and the person is not listening and continues to push you over, why do you continue to communicate with them? Level up your boundary. Why do you let them get away with it? Why are you disrespectful of your own boundary? This shows the person that they can walk all over you and that your boundaries don't mean anything. And don't make excuses for anyone else, because you are responsible for setting your boundary and they are responsible for respecting it. If they don't respect it, again, that's information. You spoke your need and your boundary, and that's enough from your side. Now it's their turn to respect it. Put yourself first. No, oh, I don't want to cause drama. No. You can't control how people treat you, but you can control your presence in their treatment. The way that you feel is a big deal, and nobody should tell you less. Don't be quiet, because you'll start to resent the people that you are being quiet around. Ignoring your own boundaries is going to ruin your own relationships. Now, let's talk about the fear. If setting boundaries feels scary to you, that's absolutely normal. It doesn't mean that you're bad at them. It just means that you were rewarded for being easy, agreeable, and for not needing much. So now when you say no, your body panics. And that doesn't mean that something is wrong. Discomfort does not mean danger. It means you're upgrading. So here's what helps when that fear comes up. Expect the discomfort. Don't wait to feel ready. Say it once. Say it calmly. Say it confidently. Don't over-explain. Don't argue for your boundary. Just stand in it. Confidence is not loud. It's consistent. Let me give you some real life examples of boundaries so you get the picture. I'm not in the space for this today. I need to leave by 8. I don't drink. That doesn't work for me. I don't take calls. I don't rush to answer my texts. I need something lighter right now. Notice how none of those were aggressive. They were calm, clear, and to the point. Boundaries don't need to be dramatic to be real. Believe me, if you start setting boundaries now, you are going to be so thankful for this in the future. I spent my whole life as a people pleaser, and I realized how many things I missed out on, how many opportunities I missed out on. I would always be going places I don't want to go and doing things I don't want to do. And why? Literally why? For what? For who? For people that I'm not even following on Instagram anymore. If you're constantly people pleasing, you are dumping your energy out on them and you have nothing left for yourself. So let's talk about those people. Do they actually love you for you? Or do they love the version of you that doesn't ask for anything and agrees to everything? If you think that setting boundaries with friends means potentially losing those friends, then let me just tell you that if that's the case, those people were not your friends in the first place. People think things out of their own perspective, their own life experiences, their own trauma, and for every single person, this is different. So why are you trying to guess ahead of time how they're going to react, what they're going to say, or what they're going to do? How do you want to have real, genuine friends if you are not genuine yourself? If you're pretending to be this or that, then the people that like you for this or that. And as soon as you decide to stop doing that, they'll stop liking you because they liked that. But then you will find the people that will like you for you. Once you start choosing yourself over others, you'll see that you will start losing people. But the real ones will be with the real you, with the boundaries and everything. So stop concerning yourself with other people's reactions. You think they will react in a certain way, so you try to change what you say or do to get them to react in a different way. And what does that make you? Waiting for your answer in the comments below. You can't control what they think, but you can control what you think. So make sure that you are thinking things that are pushing you forward instead of keeping you stuck. If someone thinks something about you, that has nothing to do with you. It only has to do with them. Think about it. We're all human and we all have moments where we think something not so good about someone. Now tell me, do those thoughts affect that person in any way? No. Not at all, but they do affect you in the moment because something triggered you, which also makes me think, isn't it better to trigger someone than have them have no reaction at all? So when you just forget about all the people and you start choosing your own self, you thrive in happiness. You become surrounded by people that love you for who you are, and you become unbothered and start living on your own terms. And this part is important. If someone is not willing to respect your boundary, that is information. It tells you a lot. It tells you just how entitled they were to your time, your energy, and your emotional labor. If someone is not willing to respect your boundaries, they do not deserve a space in your life. That's clear and simple. Be serious about your boundaries. Don't let people walk all over you. Don't let people ignore them constantly. My light died. Don't let people ignore them constantly. And know that some people are quicker to adapt than others. Someone might get it as soon as you set your boundary. Others might need some time to get used to it. But if you clearly see that someone is continuously choosing to ignore your boundaries, they're just showing their true colors to you. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to you. And that doesn't make you mean. It makes you self-aware. And sometimes the most loving thing that you can do for yourself is step back. You will never be enough for the wrong people. Ignorance is bliss, so let people think whatever they want about you. Besides, I'm sure the only people thinking bad things are the ones that have nothing better to do. You were never meant to be easy to misuse, and you do not need to be easy and convenient to be lovable. A woman who knows her limits is magnetic, because she's not available for chaos, she's not available for disrespect, and she's not available for the emotional mess that she did not create. And that energy, it changes the way people treat you. You don't get to be everything for everyone without being nothing for yourself. So, I want to end with this because I really want you to feel this in your body. Boundaries are not a flaw. They are proof that you value yourself. The people who respect you will rise to meet you, and the people who don't were benefiting from you having none. And that's okay to outgrow. Self-respect is always in style. Always. Thank you girls so much for watching this video. Leave your insights in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support your girl, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!